In today's world, being able to focus almost like a superpower. You rarely see anyone who able to concentrate on a single task for hours, and the individuals who are able to focus to nobody's surprise get so much more done than other people. There are many areas where you could benefit from better concentration, whether it's a school, studying, work, or hobby. If you are able to focus, you can get your desired results faster. So today I'll explain what you holding you back from focusing and what you can do to improve. And I know you are procrastinating at this video moment by watching video, but I'll make it work in your way. So grab a pen and paper. Make sure to write down a few key points about whatever you learned in this video, the way you get the maximum value out of your procrastination. Procrast- Procrastination section and buckle up because it's going to be a long one. Let's dive in. We have two types of focus, scattered focus and directed focus. Scattered focus is broadly distribute attention. This is your typical multitasker trying to do many things at the same time. Cleaning the house while taking a phone while cooking dinner, or someone who trying to focus on one thing, but they keep thinking about something else at the same time. And this is what the most people do. They divide their attention to work on different things. The problem with the type of focusing is that your brain is extremely bad at switching between multiple things at once. You see, when you switch from one task to another, it's not an instant switch. Instead, your brain has to lock the content whatever you're doing into your working memory. When you're constantly shifting your attention from you one thing to another, you focusing your brain to load and reload context over and over. Essentially, you end up with wasting a tons of mental energy with switching back and forth leaving you exhausted without getting much done. Now, on the other side, we have strategic focus. You achieve by direct your attention to a single action while ignoring everything else. This is what you should aim to achieve and is how high achievers direct their focus. They concentrate on one thing at a time like a laser beam, and they do that thing to the maximum of their ability while deregulating all other stimuli. So what you can do to avoid scatteric focus is simple. You should aim to remove all distractions and avoid any stimuli which could even harm your concentration. Let's look at it this way. Let's say you have 5 units on focus available at any time. That means you can use those 5 units in any way you like. For example, you could use them for on studying, thus achieving direct focus there. Now, let's say your mom enters your room while you are studying and tell you need and tell you and let's say your mom enters your room while you are studying and tell you that dinner will be ready in 45 minutes. Even if you would support concentrated and even if that interact only lasts for 10 seconds, your attention is now divided. Dinner will now be on your mind, and your focus will not be as good as it was before. One of the focus units was used on that dinner, taking it away from your study section. It's now going to take some time before you are able to fully regain your focus and you'll end up with wasting your mental energy in the process. Now the funny thing is that you're mostly carrying a similarly destructive bomb with you all the time, your phone. The tiny device big anti-focus machine there. It rings, it vibrates, and whenever you get a few notifications, it makes a sound. That's beep. It only takes to take your mind off the thing you were supposed to be concentrating on. Concentrating on. But even if your phone is on silent, you are very likely to take a quick look at it whenever you feel bored, thus dividing your attention. Of course, it doesn't mean you should throw the phone away or anything like that. Instead of simply suggesting that whenever you want to concentrate on something, but it is somewhere where you know it won't disturb you and you won't be able to look at it. That being said, cellphones are the only thing that divide your focus. Anything can do that, but your phone is probably the biggest contributor. The point is to become aware of the possible distraction and to avoid. This is a very hard lesson I never studied before. Avoid them. Another thing that it could be affecting your ability to focus is your physiology. This is something that is not considered often. However, if you want to mind to function optimally, you need to take care of your body. If you are sleep under 7 hours per day, your concentration will suffer. On the contrary, it's been shown that getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep leads to be better ability to focus during the day. Exercise is also something that should be done on daily basis, thanks to the release of dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and other neurotransmitters to ability to focus of difficult stuff improve. By exercise, I don't mean going out and running a marathon, but the short walk around the block is already sufficient. Bonus point is worth the work in the nature. Hydration is also very important. You might have noticed that when you wake up in the morning, you can't really think straight right away. Once of reality because you hadn't drank any for over 10 hours, so you're mildly dehydrated. Your diet plays a big role in your performance. If you indulge in stuffing your face with unhealthy food or drink a soda, you are doing your brain a disservice. Food that in high sugar content leads to brain fog and inability to concentrate. You might want to look into some healthier alternatives. So if you want to focus easier, make sure to take care of your body. Now let's take a look at how you build your focus. It should be noted that concentration is a skill. You can actually train to focus like you would train for a sport. The more you do it, the better you can get it. When you start, you might be able to focus for just 10 minutes, but when you do that day after day, your ability to concentrate will strengthen and you'll be able to do it longer period of time. So if you can concentrate for an hour right now, that's fine. You can train up your direct focus over time. And the best way to practice your focus is to have a certain time in the day when you concentrate in just one task. Basically, you want to make a concentrate a regular habit. A lot of us are waiting for the opportunity when everything is perfect, when we're feeling motivated, and when we on planet Earth life before we're going to try to focus. But that's a wrong approach. Instead of way better to have a dedicated time in every day. You will seek a concentrate thing for as long as you can. You then want to protect that time. The best time to focus is the morning, about 1 hour after waking up. Usually that's fully awake and your mind is not yet occupied with other things that require your attention. Plus, at the time you typically have no distraction and you have all your focus units really be distributed. This time of the day has been utilized by many enthusiasts, why writer and philosophers. But what about the afternoon? Well, you see, if you had a busy day, your attention had already been scattered in many different directions, and brain is heavily stimulated. That's why it's so much easier to focus in the morning. Your brain had been resting for 8 hours after all, so it decided to middle of distracted afternoon to switch up attention to. demands such, for example, studying. You're having a hard time directing your focus. Your mind will only be occupied with other things, such attempts with therefore frequently phone. But that doesn't mean it's possible to focus late. Late in the day, you just need to unstimulate your brain, and you do that by taking a proper break. You see, it's very hard to concentrate on something for a longer period of time without getting mentally tired, and it doesn't matter if you calculate or direct its focus. Both are exhausting. They are why you need to take a break after you might rest. However, this is the way most people sleep up. You see, taking a break doesn't mean pulling out your phones and browse your Instagram, YouTube, or whatever. You're stimulating your brain and you are still mentally engaged, therefore draining your mental energy instead of charging it. What you should do instead is go for a walk, meditate, or maybe take a nap. The activity allows you to unplug and start recharging of mental storage and not stimulate. And I know it might sound boring, but you should allow yourself to bore to give your brain some breathing room. Of course, taking a mental break is just for when you want to switch from focus to restrict focus. It's also very useful when you want to extend your ability to continue focusing intensely. Another way to look at it is to imagine you have been running for an hour without stopping it. Then you have 15-minute break before you be running for another 1 hour. You can choose A. Sit down, relax, and do nothing for 15 minutes. Or B. Jump ropes and do prep for 15 minutes. Obviously, you choose the option A and you don't want to expose yourself. You don't want to have enough energy to run for other hours after all. In this case, running is an analogy for focus. When you've been focused for 1 hour, you don't want to add more stimulation to the mix. You just tire yourself out mentally if you watch TV or browse the internet. So find an activity that suits you that not mentally stimulating and it helps you to disconnect. Personally, my favorite thing to do for a short work, it helps me recharge mentally every time. Now the perfect technique that ties intensity, focus, and mental break together is the Pomodoro technique. I only make a video on this method, but it goes over it's quickly. It goes like this. You choose the task that you want to focus on. Then you set a time for 15 minutes and do nothing but concentrate on that task. When the time rings, you take 5 minutes break and restart the dinner at the timer. When you complete a 45-minute session, you have a long break, usually consisting for 30 minutes. Of course, it doesn't have to be so rigid. When 15-minute work and 5-minute rest are just recommendation. You can do it however long you feel like, depending on the complexity of the task. For example, when I'm really creating my day, I will set the time for 45 minutes and then take a 15-minute break. So you should experiment a little find out with a combination suit your best. You best. If you make it fit into your video, good job. You focus it on better than most people. Because it was a long video, it's quick summarize everything it's just talking about. First, we have two types of focus, scattered focus and directed focus. You want to achieve directed focus while staying away from scattered. Second, the best way to avoid scattered focus is to avoid distraction. Every time something interrupts you, it takes from your focus unit, and your brain has to reload your concept over and over, leaving you mentally drained. Third, take care of your body. If you want to mind function properly, you need to take care of your physical health. That means getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, keeping hydrated, and watching that you're pushed in your mouth. 4. Concentrate your skill. If you can't focus right now, that's fine. You can train your concentrate like you would train for a sport, and over time, you'll get better at it. 5th, make a focus a daily habit. Don't just wait around for motivation. Instead, set a time in your day when you focus instantly. Morning are the most optimal because usually there are no distractions and your brain is not yet occupied with multiple things. 6. Unstimulate your brain. Meditate, go for a walk, or take a nap. Allow your brain to be boring and don't go anything stimulating like browsing the internet. This is especially important if you want to focus lately in the day. 7. Take regular breaks. Focusing gets exhausted really fast, so give your mind a rest and you'll be able to focus intensely for longer and make sure you are actually rest and not low-key stimulate your mind. 8. Use the prominent technique. It's the perfect method that ties intense focus and regular break together. It knocks out. Make the technique your daily habit. This is the for video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, give this video a quick like and subscribe if you had done so already. Hopefully you'll be able to focus better than that. The first psychiatrist and director's focus. They are two. Uh, the next part is just my try to summarize this video by myself. There are two type of focus is psychiatrist focus and director's focus. The second thing is avoid distraction. The third is take care of your body, uh, like physical education, do some exercise. The fourth, concentration is a skill. 5. Makes focus a daily habit. 6. Unstimulate your brain. Like you do not you have to do a boring thing before you do a main thing. It's like if you do interesting things like play a game or doing something you like, but it's not this is not focus on your uh, goal. You don't do it. You please do very boring things before you do a main thing. So when you come back the main thing, you will feel like wow, it's interesting than the more things before. Mm, the sixth is stimulate your brain. 7. Take regular breaks. Take regular breaks. Okay, like you have to where you need to have a mini snap before you doing uh after you doing a long focusing. The A is using the Pomodoro technique. Okay, thank you for hearing. Uh, It was the last college summer. Well, for most, but not me. I was taking a gap year to focus on my small business at the time. Things didn't go as planned. I got service burnt out and eventually gave up on the whole thing. So I spent the rest of my gap year mostly inside my room, distract myself with the video games and feel like a failure. That was when a new few friends took me go to grab a bite. They said I should go somewhere. I said Alaska. I asked them to drive me, but they hesitated. But they agreed. They planned to make road to decide bike reading and everything was taken care of. The plan was ride to 4 motorcycle from Richmond, then take Route 76 and head to the Alaska Highway. But life happened. At the day of the journey, at the day of the journey, approach, people started drop me out one by one. When the day of the journey, the last and the final person backed out. So I had to make my choice whether to give up or plan attempt driving across the country on a 20 years old motorbike. I decided, what the heck, let me have a go at it. I don't go now, I would never get things out of my system. So I make up a mental agreement. The moment when I buy gives up when I give up and I had gives up and head back home, and I was on the road. The road took me across the country, Pittsburgh, Sandusky, Michigan Lake, Seattle, and all the way to the Van Counter. I drove from dusk till dawn and take a quick snap even at the bus stop by the river and under the oak tree. Received for a horror movie, I know, but I was too tired to worry. Living in the city for all my life, I almost forgot how peaceful it was. to just fall asleep under a sky full of stars. Spending most of the time driving makes you appreciate small things. A hot cup of coffee in the morning feels like a village. A double cheese at the local dinner feels like a warm hug. And sometimes I get looked after a long drive and change into a dingy motel by a road. I check drive because after a few thousand miles of driving like crazy, the broadcast battery would feel like a bed of sweet marshmallow. By the time I reached Seattle, 4 weeks had passed. It took a lot more than planned because I took a lot of data at every interesting turn I found. I followed my gut and keep my finger crossed that I did not into finger crossed that I did not run into any fresh cruiser, and there was no freshly cruel indeed. Instead, I found a schedule lay tucked away in the forest, an abandoned small where I play one whole an abandoned moon where I play one hell of basketball match with myself, and a piano left in the middle of the desert. There's something so sacred about finding hidden gems on the road. See, so secret and surreal, like they were made for me, my own little corner of raw world. I promised myself one day I would return. I promised. Then I marched on. But the rest of the trip didn't go as planned. My back broke out when I reached Beaver Creek. What now? I think to myself. I thought back to my initial plan when the most give up. When I give up, I want to book a and I was going to book a flight home, but that I feel like the easy way out. So I took myself to hell with it. So I sold the bike and worked. I worked until each step was heavier than the last, until my breath ticket. I worked until I couldn't. Then I hit high. The miles ticket away, and I found myself among the stars of the earth from the early couple who offered me can of the candid of Kane deep on the road to the vegetable who offered me free looking for a couple of days just because we all love Chuck's Berry. When I told them about my plan, they all told me to go for it. On June 28, I reached Alaska. I burst with joy when I saw Alaska Range, the beautiful, majestic Alaska Range with its snow-capped peaks and streamers peaks and shimmering galaxies. I stood there in awe. At that point I had no strength left in me, but I was filled with the warmth of never-ending freedom. I spent the next few days at the hospital after losing over 20 pounds and dehydration. Then they spent a week stay at home just to recover. Some asked me if the trip solved my problem. It didn't. Running away from them it didn't. Running away from them didn't help. My problem was still there, patiently waiting for me. But I will say it. One morning, you wake up in a train land thousands of miles away from home, and you be nobody, no expectation, no judgment. So instead of acting how people expect to be, you act how you really feel with complete honesty without feeling guilty for trying hard enough. That's what I felt on my first morning in Alaska. The problem I ran away from no longer felt as heavy as it was. They just feel less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. And for the moment, it was enough to stay alive. That's what I do. To seek, to strive, to write, and not to yell. I said this before, and I said it again. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it. It was midnight when Jay left Peter's house. He was there for 4 hours, listening to Peter rant about money, about work, and even about the weather. Peter didn't stop once to ask Jay how he was doing. Peter just needed to run. Jay didn't particularly like it, but Peter was his friend, so he tolerated. You must be nice to people, that's what his mama always said. Jess was the first to die among Jake was the first to die among all of his friends. He died of LAAs, a photo-motor neutron disaster that affected the muscle movement. He slowly got paralyzed. At his funeral, the only thing his friend can say is that Jake is a nice guy. It's true. Jake never complained about things to be nice, seemed to be the only thing he knew. What Jake didn't know is scientists have already established a correlation between LAS, the disease that killed him, and the National Vitro, the disease that killed him at the Nationals in the 1990s. Sometime for quite some time, at an international congress in Bavaria in 1990, two clever clinical pathologists presented this finding. ALS patients were extremely nice, so much so that the staff could in most cases accurately predict who would be diagnosed with the condition and who would not. Most of these patients are classified as type C personality. Individuals with a personality type often exhibit traits like uncompliance, compliances, and assertive nature especially expressing negative emotions like anger. Jake is one of them. To him, being nice to be pushed all of his negative down and take down of my smiling nod of the head is the only thing he wears. To him, please other people is worth abandoning his own needs. He never addressed things that upset him. He was his own way agreed to everything he said. He might have lots of friends, but none of them knows him because he never says a word. Jake, like many other obsessive nice people, eventually isolates himself from others. They are so concerned about being like that they never consider the effects of niceness on other people and themselves. In recent years, a relatively new field of science emerged that can help explain people like Jake often die early. It's called psychoneuroimmunology. The goal is to map the connection between emotion and our nervous and immune system and how stress might isolate disease. Chronic stress often by a bunch of suppress emotion and self-neglect. Immune response, for instance, the suppression of anger and linking to a diminished effectiveness of natural killer LA cells is a crucial component of immune system defense against cancer. In short, being stressed more often can increase your likelihood of having cancer, but that's not all. Students have shown that chronic stress plus of symptoms with a hormonal surge which makes an assertive of depressed niceness or suppressing stress to be more specific link virus alignment. It narrows blood vessels and promotes vasoconstriction throughout the body. Encountering cancer growth, thins bone, make us vulnerable to diabetes, elevate the risk of cardiovascular and metabolic problems, impair essential cognitive of result of brain, elevate blood pressure, increase blood clotting and raise the risk of heart attack or stroke. Therefore, it's not too far off to stay to benign for too long. Too often, it's to subject yourself to an early death. If you're one of those obsessive people out there, yes, the advice is to stand up for yourself once in a while. Do not let other people shame on over you, to be less nice, and to be less uptight, to speak out loud what you feel once in a while. But of course, this is often easier said than done. It's a particular conflict between two core needs that exist inside each of us. to be liked, and to be ourselves. Our attachment and authenticity as psychological attachment in the drive for closeness, physically and emotionally, is our core survival need. Without reliable undertaking care of us, and without our impulse to be close to their character, we simply couldn't survive for a day. Everything from crying to cuteness and build a fear of desire by nature to keep up our character and caring for us. The need for attachment does not inspire when we die, but it continues to motivate us through our lifespan and the entire life. Our behavior, our other core needs the alternative to be true to ourselves, to shape our life from deep knowledge of who we are. This core need often opposes need for attachment, and with opposite nine people authenticity in a losing battle. Super nice people often find themselves in a tough spot where they can be true to themselves. In fear of risking their relationship with others, they think that being nice is the only way to make sure people will like them and stay close to them. This happening often starts when they are little. As a child, they might be receive messages that a certain parts of them are acceptable while others not. For example, the learning that good children don't yell, so being nice became the way to survive, or they may the idea that I'm loved only when I'm doing things well, so they cut off the vulnerable part themselves that need to know there is room to fail. Constantly push down of true feeling to keep all happy make us lose touch with who you are. What's more, this habit of always putting others first can get so ingrained that might forget that you want to feel. You end up with living life what being a more about meeting other expectation than following your own heart. The constant effort to please everyone else can leave you feeling drained, resentful, and like you are lost a part of yourself. But again, but important, very important to know of all this is not your fault. No, you're not even aware that you support yourself because you are survival mode. No, but again, it's important, very important to know all of that this is not your fault. Know that you have a choice. Know that when you condition to do something you are not even aware you are doing, you are not even aware that you're suppressing yourself because you are in survival mode. mode. The onset in authenticity may not be a choice, but with awareness and self-compassion, authenticity can be, and a some way find the truth. The truth will be set you free. When you want to be able to communicate in English, learn 3,000 words. What to do when you are shy. On Thursday, I go to school again. One student had a very interesting question. She says, I am very shy when I speak English. Can you help me to overcome my shyness? Our teacher says, is it true that when we use foreign languages, it is natural that we feel uncertain or shy? We are doing something that we are not perfect at. The possibility of make a mistake is great. I was also very shy when I learned foreign languages. I remember well, I was afraid to make a mistake. When I did make a mistake, I feel stupid and sometimes I blush. Now, it is different. I use languages for communication. I care only about communication. You know that I'm learning Spanish the day. Embarrassing situations can happen, but they can't stop me from using Spanish. It is true sometimes I still feel shy when I have to speak Spanish. I also sometimes blush, but I don't care as much about it. It's a natural human feeling, and it never lasts forever. I continue using Spanish because I know that only by using it I can improve. I also try to see things that they are. I am a student, and I am on the way to good Spanish. It is not possible to skip several levels in one day. The beginner can become a perfect speaker in 1 hour. I also see what I mean to people around me. When I already speak some Spanish, I have a value to people who speak Spanish. You should see the same. When you already speak some English, you can have a conversation with other people in English. That's great. Look at what you already know. You know 2,000 words. You have already gone from 0 to 2,000 words. Appreciate it. Some students have a feeling that to know English means to be able to speak like a native speaker, to have perfect pronunciation, perfect grammar, and just speak perfectly without any mistake. They think they are doing very hard and they don't know themselves. They are not themselves. They are very hard on themselves. They are necessary. I like what our teachers tell us. I am also sometimes shy. I know that I should practice speak a lot but in some situations, I don't want to look to speak and don't speak as much as I know. I decided to be a bit more brave in this situation and use them to practice more. Then one student say, sometimes I want to say something, but I don't know the word which I want to say. Then I stop, and I don't know what to do. In these situations, I feel very stupid. Then the next time when I speak English, I don't want to speak because I don't want to be in the stupid situation again. Can you help me with this? Our teachers say, when you start to speak English, you have to prepare for one thing. There will be moments when you don't know a word what you want to say. In such situation, you will need to learn how to describe the words. This ability is very important when learning a new language. Since you are not a native English speaker, you will probably never know the same amount of words as you know in a native speaker. I can tell you that you can be described most very words. You only need to train this skill. You will have to train how to speak ideas within the vocabulary you have. For example, you don't know how to say the word key, you can describe it as a small thing for open door. You also describe words in your native language without realizing. If you don't know the word for something, you just describe it to other person so they can understand what it is. You can do the same thing in English, but you need to train this ability. Thinking aloud is a very good technique to use when you want to be able to describe it well. Use thinking aloud every day, and your ability to describe things will improve. You can learn English only when you use English. It is okay to be shy, but it can stop you from using English. Who is talented? The next day is Friday, and I go to school again. I am happy that I go to this class not only because of our teacher, I like this class because there are students from many different countries in our class. Some students are from Europe, some students are from South America. There is also one student from Japan and one from South Korea in my class. This is good for me because the students don't speak my native language. When I speak to them, I have to use only English. This is very good from my practice. Alo à?